We gonna talk about something that's still crawling through we blood and we bones today. Something that came from the plantation yard and still playing out on we job site, in the school system, in politics, and even in we own family. We gonna talk about the house slave versus the field slave mentality. Yes, we going there. Now, before anybody feel offended and tell me that, oh, I should be talking about that, let me make one thing clear. It ain't to shame we ancestors or nobody else. It's to honor them and to see how much of their survival tactics we still carrying. Sometimes to we benefit and sometimes to we own detriment. So back in the day, the field slaves was the one working long hours under the hot sun, toiling in the cane and the cotton fields, skin scorched, back bent, often spirit bruised, but never broken. While the house slaves, them was closer to massa and working indoors, kind of like Nanny Greg, right? Cooking, cleaning, dressing, nursing the picnic. Sometimes getting scrapes of privilege, sometimes thinking that that made them different or safer. But the thing is that both sets of people were still enslaved. Both of them were still under the whip. Just different rooms, but the same prison. You know what I mean? So let me fast forward today and we can still see the remnants of those roles. Yes, let me know in the comment section below if you can identify with that. Some of we real quick to tear down each other. Quick to prove who is more civilized and all the things, and who more close to whiteness, even if you're thinking in the back of your mind, who more respectable. We still got Bajans today who feel that they're better than others because of how they speak. And where they went to school, yes, and where they live, or even worse, because they're willing to turn a blind eye to the injustice and just keep a seat at some fancy table. Want to know about one of them? Let me know in the comment section. That is the house slave mentality, preserving proximity to power. Even if it means selling out your own, you're gonna do that. And then there is the field slave energy, the ones that just fight back and resist, still carry the fire of rebellion, but sometimes even that does turn inward. We just get so used to surviving that we don't even know how to trust we own. I know a lot of women that say that, or build, or grow. So the question is, and keep it in the back of your mind here, how do we heal? How do we unlearn these mentalities while still remembering where they came from? Because that is vital in order for us to not make mistakes all over again. One thing I need to let one know is that survival is not the same as freedom. If we still moving between house and field, we may not be as free as we think we are. So, in this episode, I, Xannah Moniq, gonna call out this part of the Baj-Story. Not to divide us further, but it is to understand where we came from again, and most importantly, where we gonna go from here. So comment, like, share, do all the things that you know that you gotta do in order to make sure that this Baj-Story hit the world, because I'm important. Remember, it is upon our ancestors' shoulders we stand. See, under slavery in Barbados, starting as early as 1627, the British colonizers developed one of the most brutal and efficient plantation systems in the world. So according to Hilary Beckles in his work White Servitude and Black Slavery in Barbados, Barbados was the first colony to fully adopt the system of racialized chattel slavery, a model they later exported to Jamaica, the Carolinas, and beyond. So in that system, enslaved Africans were deliberately divided into different roles. Yes, you had to be the field slave who worked the sugar cane, sometimes 16 hours a day, in the burning hot sun, in the mud and the filth and everything else. They often were darker skinned, considered more expendable, and brutalized regularly. And then you had the house slaves, usually chosen for their youth, their appearance, and their European features. and often were the result of the RAPE word by enslavers. They cooked and they cleaned and dressed the enslavers and served the family directly, which is interesting, knowing that they were doing an injustice to we ancestors. Some of them even nursed the enslavers' children while their own were left unattended. Yes, and sometimes they were given slightly, even tiny bit better clothes, better food, and protection from the harshest beatings sometimes. But hear this though, none of them did free. Every single one of them was under the rule. And this wasn't about the privilege, it was about the proximity to the power. You see what I mean? When you did out in the field, it wasn't as close as when you was in the house. That proximity that I telling you about was used to divide us. This was really by design, as Dr. Joy DeGruy explains in Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. Colonizers intentionally used tactics of separation and hierarchy to sow distrust, jealousy, and competition between enslaved Africans to stop the uprisings before they could start, so it was used as a distraction. Interesting, huh? Let me know if you feel as if some of that still lingering in we society today. Purposeful. That system didn't just break bodies, it brought relationships. House slaves did often force to police the field slaves. They had to report rebellions and snitch on those who ran away and even enforce some of the punishments in some places. Some were coerced into becoming overseers of the very people they shared blood with. You see the proximity to power that I'm talking about? This created a survival mechanism that still, I dare say, echoes today. Imagine being told your life depends on being better than them, whoever they are, being more obedient and more palatable and more silent. That is the root of house slave mentality. Being rewarded for being closer to power, even if it means turning your back on your own. And what about the field slave mentality? It became a symbol of resistance. There were the ones who conspired, rebelled, and ran away and fought back. There were the ones who remembered home, the language, the drum, and the rhythm, and the fight. But let me make one thing clear to you. Both groups were trapped. Survival, no matter what the path, came with trauma. So let me fast forward. Slavery did get abolished in 1834, right? And the apprenticeship system finished in 1838. But the mental chains, them still there. We ain't healed from them yet at all. We still seeing these mentalities just dressed up in a different outfit. At work, we got people who feel they have to code switch just to be accepted. You know this. You talk proper. You dress proper. And you don't be too black, whatever that is. That is the house slave mentality. Thinking survival means erasing your own culture to fit in. Then we got the people in positions of power who align with oppressive systems or people or governments or whatever over their own communities. They dismiss the poor, belittle dialect, and call protests uncivilized to benefit from a system built on silence. That is house slave mentality too. But the field energy is still alive too, and you see it in the people who does push back and who does refuse to be quiet. Them hold the culture close and call out the injustice. But even that, sometimes that resistance does become mistrust, even towards each other. We just see it all the time and all the things that going on in we Barbados today. We just cut down each other and refuse to build each other up and together, because deep down we have been taught not to trust we own. So what we gonna do about them? We can't heal what we don't name. And we don't name it. That's the problem. That's why I just do what I do here. Let me call it we Baj-Story. Pan Bajans pan the net. Anyway, This division did not start here in Barbados with us, but we are responsible for carrying it. And if we don't unpack it, we can pass it down like a family heirloom. Listen to what I just say. We can pass it down like a family heirloom if we don't stop this. We need to stop seeing our survival patterns as shame. We need to understand where they came from and where we came from, so that you could choose differently. We need to call out the house mentality when we see it, yes, but not with scorn, please, with love, with understanding, taking up the good bits, and with correction, because some people still learning what freedom feel like. We need to protect and uplift that feel spirit, but temper it with unity and not bitterness and trying to break in somebody's house or knock down somebody or worse. Seriously though, you understand what I tell you? We ancestors had to fight to survive. Some of them did bent and burnt and broken, but all of our ancestors endured. So let us honor them by not repeating division. Let us talk about our ancestors. Let us lift them up for what they stood for and what they could have been. Let us remember what they went through so that again we don't repeat the division, but that we can actually heal the wounds because we know what it is that we gotta heal from, because we more than the system. We always was. Thanks so much for listening. Remember to like, share, comment, and do all the things that you can do to call out we Baj-Story. Let we remember, respect, and revive. And I can talk to Xannah in the next episode.